guys, happy quarantine. Hope you're all doing well. This video is going to talk about some tips for writing your narrative pieces for the multi-genre research project. So I'm going to go over some terms and some writing techniques that will take your narrative writing to the next level. You don't have to employ all of them, but you might want to, maybe you should include some of them. Okay, so we're going to look at some passages from Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone and look to see how J.K. Rowling used some of these techniques in her writing. So, without further ado, narrative strategies as found in Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. The first strategy we are going to talk about is dialogue. Dialogue refers to any words that the characters are speaking, conversations that they're having with each other. So here is a conversation between Hagrid and Harry. And Hagrid says, "Now, your mom and dad were as good a witch and wizard as I ever knew. Head boy and girl at Hogwarts in their day. Suppose the mystery is why you-know-who never tried to get him on his side before. Probably knew they were too close to Dumbledore to want anything to do with the dark side. Maybe he thought he could persuade him. Maybe he just wanted him out of the way. All anyone knows is he turned up in the village where you was all living on Halloween 10 years ago. You was just a year old. He came to your house and Hagrid suddenly pulled out a very dirty spotted handkerchief and blew his nose with a sound like a foghorn." This last sentence right here, where Hagrid is doing something, that is called blocking. When we have dialogue in our stories, our characters don't just stand still like robots. They're usually doing things while they speak. And this is called blocking, and we use blocking to help lend some personality to your characters. It also helps us understand the characters better. So here, Hagrid's telling the story to Harry about, what happened to his parents. And you can infer that he's getting a little worked up about it. He's getting a little sad. So that's blocking. So they go hand in hand. Next, we have setting description. Setting description always helps your reader better envision where the story is taking place, when the story is taking place. So here we have Harry entering Hogwarts for the very first time into the Great Hall, and the last paragraph describes the Great Hall. Harry had never even imagined such a strange and splendid place. It was lit by thousands and thousands of candles that were floating in midair over 4 long tables where the rest of the students were sitting. These tables were laid with glittering golden plates and goblets. At the top of the hall was another long table where the teachers were sitting. Professor McGonagall led the first years up here so that they came to a halt in a line facing the other students with the teachers behind them. The hundreds of faces staring at them looked like pale lanterns in the flickering candlelight. So here you get a good sense of what the Great Hall looked like and how magical it felt to Harry the first time he walked in there. We also have some alliteration going on with glittering golden goblets. Like a little bonus feature there. Interior monologue, it's very similar to dialogue, except these are your character's innermost thoughts. They're always written in italics and they never use quotation marks. And so here's a thought that Harry has. He hears a loud tapping noise and he thinks, and there's Aunt Petunia knocking on the door, because he hasn't really realized where he is yet. Interior monologue is very powerful, especially if you have unreliable narrators, but very powerful way to help our readers get inside the innermost thoughts of our characters. Character description, it's pretty straightforward. Without a description of our characters, it's hard for the reader to picture them, understand them. So here's early in the book where we're learning who Harry is and what he's like. J.K. Rowling writes, "Perhaps it had something to do with living in a dark cupboard, but Harry had always been small and skinny for his age. He looked even smaller and skinnier than he really was because all he had to wear were old clothes of Dudley's, and Dudley was about 4 times bigger than he was. Harry had a thin face, knobbly knees, black hair, and bright green eyes. He wore round glasses held together with a lot of Scotch tape because of all the times Dudley had punched him on the nose. The only thing Harry liked about his own appearance was a very thin scar on his forehead that was shaped like a bolt of lightning." Okay, so we get a sense of who Harry is, what he looks like. Then we have figurative language. There's many different kinds of figurative language. I'm going to take you through a few of them, but they're just a fun way to interject some clever meanings into your writing. So first we have a simile, which is a comparison using like or as. And we have Uncle Vernon. He's driving. Uncle Vernon nearly crashed into the car in front. He turned right around in his seat and yelled at Harry, his face like a gigantic beet with a mustache. Motorcycles don't fly, right? Well, his face is not really a beet, right? It's still a face, but we can infer that it's turning red with anger, hence the face like a gigantic beet with a mustache. So very powerful simile there. We have personification, where we give inanimate objects human characteristics. This is where Harry is learning how to play Quidditch. He's joining the Quidditch team, and he's picking out his broom. And Harry's broom jumped into his hand at once, but it was one of the few that did. Now we know this is magic, so it's kind of hard to assign personification, but yet brooms never jump into our hands, even if they are magical. So that is a good example of personification. Onomatopoeia, I love onomatopoeia, but those are words that sound like the sound they're trying to describe. So we have wham, a thud and a nasty crack, and Neville lay face down on the grass in a heap. We have hyperbole. Hyperbole is a very large exaggeration. This is where Harry is entering the Great Hall for Christmas dinner, and he sees 100 fat roast turkeys and mountains of roast and boiled potatoes. Now, I would love to see a mountain of roast or boiled potatoes, but you know that's not really a mountain, right? It's a huge exaggeration, and it's hyperboles are fun because they're just a great way to make your meanings a little more powerful. So these are some of the strategies for narrative writing. So once again, you have to write 2 narrative pieces for your multi-genre project. Make them manageable. This is not the time to try to write a novel. I know it feels like you have all the time in the world because you're stuck at home, but really you don't. You don't. Make these short, make these manageable. You don't need to try all of these tricks in your writing at once, but I would encourage you, like strongly encourage you, to use a few of them in your writing to take it to the next level. As always, if you have any questions, email me. And otherwise, keep staying safe. Don't get sick. Stay at home, quarantine, wash your hands, don't touch your face. And I really hope to see you all again soon someday. Bye-bye.